G'day team, Eddie231, another car video today, focusing on the E55. Per the title, it's something different. It's again mechanically DIY focused, but it's a little bit different to usual because we're working on a seat. We're not working under the hood or under the car. So let's get straight into it. Cool. So today we have this beautiful, like mint W211 E55 seat that I managed to find on Marketplace, that I got from someone who was parting out their E55, and this seat is literally mint. Like the car's done apparently 80,000 Ks, the one I bought it off, but to me it's even like it's done less, like it's done maybe 30 or 40, or no one's ever sat in the seat, because the seat is just perfect. The leather's still very strong and supple. There's no like polishing, especially the bolsters here. See, they've got that lovely matte factory finish, which you you don't really find, but it's hard to find. And that's the whole way around, the whole thing, including the headrest. It's all very nice, really good leather. So yeah, everything's mint. There's a few defects, just very minor. There's just little scuff marks here and here, and one here, which you can barely see on camera. It's probably easier to see with your eye. So yeah, this is a passenger seat, right? And what we're gonna do today, that's not my car. What we're gonna do today is basically remove the seat out of my E55, both seats. We're gonna replace basically my driver's seat with my current passenger seat. I'll go through this in more detail as we go. And then what we're going to do is, with my passenger seat, my current passenger seat's going to become my driver's seat. So basically my current driver's seat's going to be decommissioned, you could say. But because this is a passenger seat and it's going to become my new passenger seat, we can pretty much bolt it straight in with just a few little bits to attach to the car. Just like these little bits here, and my trim on my one's nicer, so I'll just pull this trim here out, and that could be a spare. But yeah, so this will go in place, and we'll basically take the current car's passenger seat apart. We'll remove these two cushions here. We'll remove the headrest, the full back piece, and also the airbag here, and we'll swap that out onto my driver's seat frame. So we'll strip apart the driver's seat, we'll strip apart the passenger seat, move the passenger seat cushions to the driver's seat, and my current driver's seat cushions will just go in. I'll just wrap them up and they'll go into storage as backups in case something ever happens to these seats. So yeah, what we're going to do first off is pull the seats out of my car, which is just done by 4 mounting points. And we also have obviously some, we also have some connections. So under here we have our contour seat control system. And from what I can tell, there's no electric actuation. It's all just done via little valves based on your inputs on these switches here. So it's nice and simple. So before we carry on, I want to probably disassemble just some of these panels here, because we'll swap them out directly onto my car. So yeah, we're going to remove just this piece here, and I'm going to put my current seats piece here. So just very minor stuff to remove in this car. And the only other negative, which is a bit of a shame because the headrest is so beautiful, is there's this lovely, someone's taken a lovely nick out of it, which sucks because that headrest again is just in perfect condition apart from that. So that's real sad to see. So again, that headrest is not really useful on my car because I want it to be mint, but hey, it's a backup there if someone in 20 years needs one, and they can just get maybe, or even we could probably peel off this leather cover, and if we found some leather at some point, we could re-glue this nicely on Just this sort of leather that's been stretched over it. I don't know how that works, that's upholstery stuff. Yep. Cool, so let's start with pulling apart the old car. Right team, so the E55 is in the shed. What we're going to do is put our steering wheel in and up. Cool. And first we'll do the front bolts. So move your seats fully back. All the way back. As you can see, like my seat, you can see why I'm replacing it for a start. The seats are really good. Like, this seat's still mint, really, for its age. You know, 200,000 Ks, 21 years old. It's done pretty bloody well. But if we look, you know, we've just got a bit of, I don't know what that is, but there's like a little bit of a ribbing there. There's some sort of, this is starting to separate, I think. And you can just see close up the little cracks forming between the seats. Now, over the years, I've used Leatheric to condition and clean the leather every year. So the seats are still really good, but you can tell, you know, like this bolster here, she's a bit worn. If we look at my passenger seat, which is going to become the new driver's seat, that's in much better condition. No cracking or anything. It's still not as good as this one. This one, as I say, is like, you just look at this and it's just mint. So obviously we're not going to spoil this one and make it the driver's seat. We're going to use our passenger seat instead. And this one's going to come out. So I'm going to, as I say, move that back to get to those bolts. And these bolts are actually standing right up. So that's actually a bit of a pain. What have I got in the back there? Remember, just to make sure you don't squish anything too much in the back seat. Oh, it's just my sun thing. Sun protector. Oh God. Cool, that's fine. Okay, so bolts off there. Do it on both sides. Move the seat forward, do the back ones, then we're unplugging the battery. And we're going to let the car sit for about, probably 10 minutes is fine, but I'll just sit for like 15-20 minutes before we unplug things, because this car has airbags in the seats, so you don't want to be unplugging them without disconnecting the battery fully. So make sure you do that, team. Otherwise, there is a mechanic I did meet a few years ago where a BMW he was working on, he pulled the airbag on the steering wheel with everything still plugged in because he thought it would be fine, and it blew up in his face. So we'll unhook that negative terminal. I also bought this enzyme eater stuff because my boot still has a smell to it sometimes. So hopefully this sort of eats it up, gets rid of the odor, because it's fucking driving me nuts. And it's always had it. Cool. Let's continue. Right team, so battery's unplugged, negatives off, keys are out. Steering wheel is in the up position. The headrests are down, just to make it easier to clear the exit. They're slightly tilted forward, they're pushed all the way down, and they're roughly over the bolt holes. So they're as compact as they can sort of be. So we can pull them out from here. We'll pull them out from the front, we'll move them forward, and sort of move them forward and bring them out. First we need to, oh crikey, that tips back easy. It'll be removing the harnesses, and they look like they come out of the floor down here. Interesting, there's my, you lose all this stuff. This is actually pretty filthy under here, so it's good to see. We can give it all a good clean. Some food over the years and a key. Interesting, I don't even know if it's my key, it could be the old owner's key. But yeah, after 20 minutes, there's our yellow airbag connector. So we'll pull that. But yeah, here's our accessory connections, including our white line, which is our vacuum connection or our air supply for the for the old what you call it, for the bolstering in the seats, and the bolster here, or the air cushion here that pushes this out on this is broken. So it'd be cool actually for us to see inside the seats, because these are a little more advanced seats compared to say the 210, which is pretty simple. You know, this has seat heating and bolstering bladders, air bladders in the you know, in the lumbar and stuff like that. So yeah, so the main air hose from memory connects, yeah, see, it's up in here too. See, there's this connection here. It looks like it pops out, and then it just pops out of this like quick connector here. I can't remember how you take these out, but I would imagine you just very gently pull the sides apart and you should be able to lever this out. Just be very careful, because it'll probably break if you're not careful with it. And then we've got these big harnesses here, which I imagine, yeah, just come out like that. Again, I won't do the airbag one yet. And some other stuff here. I'll be interested, I didn't video it, but I took the seat out of my 210 E55 to fix a broken spring, which was making the seat real uncomfortable to sit on. So I'll be, okay, airbag's the last one, so I'll be very keen to see how much of the, you know, the seat architecture is the same between the cars, or if they're quite different. I'm not sure, but they're pretty close in year. You know, they're only a generation apart. So, and I've also got this on the passenger side to go in, because this fabric often peels off. So my one over there is pretty poorly done, so I'm going to take that off. And you know what I'd love to do, it'd be so cool but very expensive, would be to strip all the cloth materials off the headliner and the side pillars and things, and the A pillars, and put, like, we don't have the suede headliner in New Zealand or Japan, whereas America had suede headliners for some E55s as an option, I believe, which is commonly called Dynamica. But that'd be cool to have in this car. My 221 S600 has it, which you'd expect for a V12 S-Class, but this is just, you know, standard old, still nice, but basic headliner material. Cool, let's continue. Right team, so the harness is out, we've pulled that out, and that basically slots up under this rail here. So up under here it loops through and then pulls through the gap and then plugs in at this rail at the front. You can see here there's a zip tie I've just cracked off. That's where the harness sort of distributes from. You can get it there. So just be careful with this hose, this vacuum hose here. Just make sure you don't creak it, you know, or bend it, because you might break it, and then that's going to be a major to fix. So we should be able to pull the seat out now. Oh no, that'll be all right. What I like to do, team, if I'm gonna pull the seat out, if you're lucky enough to have a real big microfiber like this, I like to just put the window fully down. I forgot to do it in this case, but just put it, you know, down enough so that you can put a bit of cloth there, just to protect anything you're pulling out. Also, even the steering wheel. I might use my, no, it's still a bit wet, probably not. Just chuck a few microfibers on things, because you'll never know when you accidentally slip or just bump something, even over that center console as well. Cool, and then pull the seat out. Simple as that. I don't even know the right method. I'll tell you once I've done it. So let me give it a crack. Right team, so seats galore, we've got all of them out now. To be honest, I can't say I found a real good way of doing it. It's quite, yeah, getting any seat out of car, any car's a bitch really, but these are obviously heavier seats, and yeah, it's a little bit of a mish to get them out. You've just got to be very careful of these airlines. I can tell you I felt like I had the seat sort of rest on one of the points at some point. Oh, look at that, like a peanut. What the that is bizarre. That's weird. That's creepy. Yeah, so we'll give these seats a bit of a clean up. Yeah, these floors a bit of a clean up, but they're not too bad. There's nothing like dried and crusted into them, so that's good. Also going to remove this B-pillar trim here because I've got that brand new one. So aside from pulling off the seal itself, which is pretty god dang well on there, we also have to remove these panels as well. So on both doors, so you can see on this one, the fabric's coming back a bit. Yeah. But what we'll do, so this is our passenger seat we're keeping. You can see they've both got the same trim in place there, and then our driver's seat's being replaced. The base of the seat will still be there, it's just everything else will be replaced on it. So yeah, so first off, let's just disassemble this side trim here. I might also just see if I can pull these plastic covers off, because I don't actually want to wreck them, and right now they're just sort of, they're supporting the seat somewhat, so I don't want them to break, so I might actually just pull those off before we go any further. But there's a little 8mm screw there to pull off, and then you've also got one at the back here in this little hole here. Sorry team, I did a poor job there at the final part, so slip the back off, and that gives you access to the sort of distribution of the air bladder system to the bolsters and things like that, all in very good condition. It's all like brand new on the seat, which is good. Then again, they don't see much dust, so you can expect them to be always pretty nice. That's our headrest adjuster, so when you move the headrest up and down, this whole unit moves down with the headrest, and so because this headrest obviously has this beautiful unfortunate ding in it, we can't use it. So as I say, I might try and repair it one day. So we're going to have to resort to using the headrest off of the passenger seat, which I'll remove now, and we'll fit that onto the seat. And then we also need to move the reinstall the side here. Yeah, there's probably no point getting too anal about it, but while you're sort of here, just wipe any sort of dust free, just sort of less sort of crud the better that can build up on these components. But this seat, I'm keen to see what my other seats look like, but this seat, mate, is like brand new. It's so nice. You can imagine what the cost of a seat would have been to replace back in the day. These would have been like probably $5,000 or something. Really good seat. So yeah, let's reinstall the headrest. I'm going to pull the headrest quickly off and we'll put it onto this one. So team, we've got the side panel back on. We've got the new headrest in, which is from my passenger seat. So that's all installed now, and the back's on and all cleaned up and put together. When you're pulling these out, the alignment's just a little bit off, but I don't know if I can do much about it because it's a different seat. But this panel here in the middle with the little footlight, this pops out from this separately. So if we look at the oh, actually I don't have it, do I? Oh no, I do, yeah, sorry. So this is the one that came with the seat. So see those there? That's where that back panel pops in there. You got that screw there, you got the 2 bolts by the first aid kit thing, and then yeah, now the problem with this, frustratingly, it doesn't matter because you can't see it, but when I was reinstalling this piece here, it got a big crack up the top here, but thankfully, you know, you can't even see it. It also got a crack down here, so you might have just seen me now, got the grinder out, just sort of roughened up the surface, and then just did a 2-pot epoxy plastic weld on it. And also this fabric here was coming off, so I just used a bit of 3M fabric adhesive just to sort of re-stick it to the back there. It's not perfect, but it's fine. It does the job. It's better than it hanging off. So if that scratch wasn't there, that piece now would actually, this would be in better condition than the other piece because it doesn't have any cracks. When you do put it on, you'll see, team, you want to sort of, you want to line it up with the top bolt hole first. So the top one there, and you're sort of bringing it up like this and sort of trying to get it onto the 2 holes and then bring it down and pop it in. So this whole plastic piece here has to be sort of carefully maneuvered onto this top sort of bolt screw length and the bottom one there. And the tricky part with it is you've got to have, there's a little metal tab here and it has to go behind the metal tab, has to slot into this little sort of part jutting out, see? Goes in there. You can't have it sitting this side, it's got to be this side. And unfortunately, this one you can see it's already got fatigue on it from the plastic nearly snapping it. I don't think there's any other way to put it on. So if you've got really old seats, you might find those break. So again, if they break, to be honest, if this broke, I'd reinstall everything and then I'd try and glue in situ the broken piece back in, because if you plastic weld it or glue it back in again, you're probably just going to snap it again as soon as you reinstall it. So that's done. I'll move this seat out of the way. I'll just chuck the 2 little 8mm screws back in there, and then we'll get this seat out. This is the passenger seat of the current car. That's becoming the driver's seat. So we'll get this up, we'll pull this airbag out, and we'll figure out how we remove the front cushion here from the seat. Oh yeah, I see. So that's, yeah, so there's just a combination of yeah, that's it. So you're gonna put pressure on the cushions, team, and you can then get these little hooks off. That's the hook around here, and it'll be the same, same with this stuff down here. Just gentle with it, don't tear it. But yeah, you can start to sort of, everything's sort of just like held on by little like retaining clips. So it's simple, you just need to take your time and not rush it. This car's my car's an April build, and I'm currently filming this in April. I believe it's its birthday pretty much around now. Be 21 years old. Yeah, let's continue. Okay, so unfortunately I couldn't really remove the, I couldn't get this upper portion of the B-pillar trim back in place after I'd cleaned it, and I thought this would happen, and it has happened. The fabric, you know, it's obviously 20 years old, the glue's sort of separated from the trim itself. So we've got like the backing of the trim, or the backing of the fabric still stuck to the plastic, as you can see there. And yeah, so it's a little bit of a mess. So I've got my original trim there from the car that I removed, and it's still in good condition. But this piece down here is all sort of coming apart. Same on this side, all that down there. And I actually can't seem to split this in half like I can for that one. You can obviously break them apart, but there's clips here and they're real tough to get undone. So what my consideration now is I'm gonna buy in some new trim, some new fabric. I'm probably gonna buy in some suede, either a black or a charcoal anthracite sort of suede, and then just for now practice doing the B-pillar, or I'm going to get a grey suede that sort of matches the headliner already and practice on that, because that would be cool. In my opinion, that'd be cool, putting a suede headliner into this car. It'll be very expensive, but if I do it myself, it will look cool. The only problem with suede is because of it being a leather product, I believe I wouldn't be able to have it cover the whole headlining. So I'd have to probably split it somewhere, like have something down the middle or something like that. But as we can see already, you might not be able to see on camera, but there's just a slight bit of sort of drop already in that headliner there. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to have to order that in. So for the meantime, we're going to work on the seats and get them fully finished. And I've got a feeling that to remove these airbags from the seats, we need to drill out these rivets. And then behind the airbag here will be some screws, which I think will help release the front cushion. So I'm literally just going to drill those out. I don't think they're needed. And yeah, and then we should be able to hopefully start disassembling this part here. Here that sits where the seatbelt goes. Just if you're doing this as well in your car, this little tab here hooks over through one of the metal barriers or metal sort of frame rails and locks in. You saw me obviously fiddling away there trying to figure out how to pull the prick off, and then I managed to see that this was protruding through one of the frames. So you just gotta, yeah, it sits like this on the car, so you just need to push it and pull it like I just did, and then you're not going to break it. I was trying not to break it. You can see here they've also got this little foam strap that sort of over the years peeled away. So I'm going to I'm going to try and re-glue that just around here. I'm even keen to buy like a meter of, what's it, sort of like a sort of soft charcoal fabric, and just redo them fully, because I had the same on that other seat as well. But for now I'll just leave it. So, and then the cushions always have these little tabs on them. What I'm thinking we need to do now is really just, and it might be a bad idea, but remove these two here on each side, and then that should give us enough room to hopefully pull the full backrest out. The problem we've got though is we've got to bear in mind that there's still wiring harnesses and everything going through this, so it's going to be a bit tricky to juggle all these bits and pieces hanging around at the same time. So I'll just clear the workbench a bit, which is an absolute pigsty, but it's alright. Actually, it's literally the one socket we do need. I might just tip I'll see if I can maybe disconnect these up here somewhere. I have no idea how this shit works, but I assume these just plug in. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll disassemble this valve connection here, and then that should let us pull that whole tube assembly back through and out the bottom. And then on the right side here we've got our airbag harness, and we'll also have our electrical connectors here crossing back over, I imagine, and around the back there up into this. So this one perhaps I can unplug from underneath, unplug that one from underneath, and thread it out of the backrest. So yeah, actually I think we're on the right track here. Then we can undo these bolts and pull hopefully the whole backrest out in one go. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm hoping. So the seats apart. Whew. Not too major actually, not too hard. Different, it sort of goes, it is a different seat to the 210. It goes together differently. Like on the 210, it goes together differently. Like the wiring harness for the 210 backrest, for example, comes out of the seat, and you know, it's a harness out of here. Whereas on the 211, which I like a lot better, you've got your air hose harness and your power harnesses that are attached to the actual base of the seat. You could obviously disconnect certain plugs and things like that and get around that as well. But I think for the sake of ease, this is much better. So you've just got one harness, two harness, and your air hoses. And the only harness that is independent is the seat heater connection. So on my when we disassemble, so this is the car's passenger seat. This is the brand, or the nice real new seat I have that we're not touching, and that's the driver's seat that's going to be used. We're going to transfer the base and the backrest over to that frame. So this frame here, and these assemblies and this and this and this is a passenger seat one. So we're gonna leave those. We're not transferring those. The only parts we're transferring, as I say, is the cushions essentially. So yeah, so this seat's gonna get fully stripped down basically. Well, to the base. and then I'll sell this and keep it on the shelf. But yeah, I do like how it comes apart. The airbags came off nice and easily. So you've got this little hook system here. So it hooks up into the frame, and then you rivet it in place with the ground wire from the harness. Then we've got our base foot pedal lamp, which has a little heat sink on it, which is quite cool. Then we've got our electric motor, which runs the seat tilt, and that's just held on by 2 screws. And I pulled off and yanked and broke a tab on the connector here. Yeah, just there. It's not a major, but what I noticed next time, if you're doing that, unscrew the motor from the backrest first, then you can pull the seat out and then undo the harness rather than doing it with it in situ, which I did, which sort of broke it. And then yeah, before you do anything, so when you saw me tipping the seat over before when I was looking underneath, just cut these 3 straight away, because as you saw at the end there, I had to sort of lift this off and balance it on my feet down on the ground while I sort of undid this piece, no, not this piece here, while I undid the seat heater connection harness, which is under this module here, which, yeah. Yeah, so it's actually quite a good system. You don't have to like remove all these little individual flipping hoses. Like this is a brilliant design. It's real easy. You just undo that little, the little sandwich part here, where they click in. So you put a flathead screwdriver through each of those holes, and it's sort of like a retainer that holds them together. So as soon as you've done that, you're sweet. So yeah, so this seat I'm gonna fully disassemble, and as I say, we've got spare parts, spare motors, spare seat belt, spare engine, spare tilt motor and lifting motors, spare control module for the seat. You know, so it's a great piece of kit to have on hand, just like I've got the 210s down here, which is an even more pieces. I've actually got to clean this up. Yeah, this one's really in pieces, which is fine. But if you look at the 210 seat assembly, now I guess you could say it's a much more solid unit. Look at that. It's like 3 motors and like this metal gearbox system. I think that seat was a bit harder to work on, even though it was simpler. Whereas you look at this and it's a little more simple. There's just your one thing here and a sort of die-cast plastic, maybe assembly, and they're all sort of independent, like modular. Like I can imagine you can remove these individually, whereas that's sort of one whole gearbox assembly. So maybe a little more over-engineered on the older ones, perhaps. And then and there's our seat cover done. Oh, that hurt. Damn. Ay. Far out, that wasn't a good idea. Snap a fingernail off. You can see these little metal retainers here. This one's actually already come out on the side, which is a bit interesting. But that's actually the cover there that sits in these clips that holds the seat to the base. So just make sure you don't, accidentally leave those out, because then your seat's going to become loose, and you can see it goes the whole way around. There's little metal clips that this whole cushion sit on, but we're not going to have those undone, because we're going to basically remove this base from this rail here. And yeah, we don't really have to probably remove anything, to be honest. There's probably the only thing we need to do to get this off, from what I can see, is undoing these particularly weird, which is concerning, screws. What the fuck are those? Those are very weird. They're like not a specific type of socket. Huh. Okay, I'm going to have to research what the hell those are, because we need to take those off to get this actual disconnected from the bottom here. Why would they use those and not just normal flipping torque screws? Like, what? Remove those, and then we can slide the cushion off the back and remove those little spring things, which whatever they are. And it looks like this is riveted also into the seat there, which we will need to swap, because we'll need to put the front seat assembly off that cushion onto this one. So it's a little bit of a job still, team, but that's cool. We're learning as we go. So I'm going to put this upright, and I'll come back later and we'll strip it, but I don't want to leave it sitting on the leather like that and sort of squishing it down, so I'll come back to it shortly. Right, team, so fast forward a little bit. We'll go through the dismantling of this seat in a little more detail the further on I get. I was just sort of halfway through this one. I thought I'll just finish it myself, just because I was getting a bit stuck in a few places, but now I know what I'm doing more, then we are good to go. So as you can see, I've disconnected or cut all the clips here, and I'll do that sooner on the old seat. And I also drilled out 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 rivet holes, which are used to mount the bracket for the first aid kit. I don't know where I bloody put it now, to be honest. Put it somewhere around here. Just the metal frame. It might be in the back here. So that's the metal frame, and it's riveted in on those two there, and not those two at the top, but the two here, 1, 2. So just be mindful of that. And then we've got these lovely little plastic brackets here, along with the little rubber nodule things that I showed you just before. So the seat base is held on to the frame by 2 of these brackets that clip into here like this. So you've got like the little rivet thing that I guess keeps it tight, and then you've got these plastic very strong clips that basically lock in place, and then you further lock it in with those little rivet things there, and then that secures the base to the rail, but only at the front. At the back you have springs sitting here, and this little hook, nodule locks into the base of the seat at the back. So we'll go through it in detail anyway now with the other seat, but yeah, we've taken it apart. That's all of the passenger's seat parts from my car, existing car. So I'm going to put them all in a box, because pretty much all of this, apart from the airbag, and well, yeah, pretty much the airbag is the only thing I'm actually keeping. Oh wait, no. The airbag from that is what I'm keeping. So actually all of this is just spare parts now. It's not actually going to be used for anything, so I'll probably pack it into a box like this or something, just seat parts maybe for the 211. I imagine a lot of it's interchangeable, so that's good. So yeah, I've also ordered, so this is the old cloth team from the B-pillar. So that's my old B-pillar trim there, and I'm probably going to just reinstall that for now actually, and then I'm going to go and try and find some wrecking B-pillars, because yeah, what I want to do is I want to fully recover the B-pillar that I've got here spare. So I'm going to go, and this is the left hand side, I'm also going to do the right hand side, and I've ordered some Dynamica suede platinum headliner material, or suede you could say, Dynamica. So that's going to be flippin' exciting. So we're going to start wrapping the interior with a nice suede headliner instead of your standard cloth. Still very nice. This is called, I think, a knit. I think it was called a flat knit type sort of headliner, which is standard on the car. So I have actually ordered another standard brand new knit opal headliner trim, so I can have that on the shelf, but I'm also have ordered a linear meter of platinum Dynamica suede fabric, and we're just going to have a crack at it. It might not work, but if it does work, it'll be so cool. And then long term, we can literally pull the headliner out of the car and recover it in suede or Dynamica, so it'll be real nice. Yeah, obviously that's an art and upholstery, so I'm gonna have a crack at it. I'll buy some tools and I'll do a separate video on that, but anyway, let's get onto the seat. So team, everything's coming apart pretty easily, which is good. A lot faster the second time around. What I found interesting though is that I replaced this, so this is the driver's seat plastic cover that I replaced when I bought the car because the existing one had fully snapped and it was loose. So I bought this from the dealer, and it's interesting because now when I look at it, well, firstly, I've only had the car, well, I guess 4 years, or coming up 5 years actually. 5 years. This is already snapped. This here is totally ripped out. So there's a screw that holds onto the back of that there. And even just with me undoing the screw normally, it's fully like stripped out the normal plastic sort of plate at the back that sits here while you screw it in. So it's ripped that out. Yeah, that's bent, and even this up here is fractured, as you can see. So this is toast. It's useless. But interesting because I only bought it a handful of years ago. But what's strange about it is that the manufacturer date on it is, from what I can tell, 2006. So it's a 2006 build in July. So it must have sat around on the shelf for years. So that explains maybe why the plastic's still relatively brittle. But yeah, so we're gonna have to buy a new one of those. I don't even know if they make them anymore now. So yeah, I won't just go and throw this in the bin straight away, because we might have to get creative if they don't make them anymore. So I'll put that down for now, but ideally we'll just buy a brand new one. Ideally one that's been recently manufactured, and that might be a newer iteration or something, just in better condition. Cool, so what we'll do, team, is take the back off now. I'm just going to give this area a quick clean and vac. It's quite dirty. And yeah, but yeah, you can see the seat's well worn. Well, it's not as bad as a lot of seats are for the 211 series, but it's definitely got polishing, and you know, if you look up close, it's pretty dirty compared to that mint passenger seat we've got now. So it'll be good to get the new, my existing passenger seat cushions moved onto this frame. So we're going to keep this airbag, for example. We're going to take this airbag off and reinstall it. The rail's the same, the seat belt, the headrest. It's just really these cushions and their bases are being swapped. So let's keep pulling away. Summary, so we've taken the panels off the sides of each part here. The driver's seat belt's interesting. It sits on like a weird spring-loaded... Probably shouldn't have done that. Oh yeah, I've just unsprung it, but anyway, I'll fix that later. but it sits on like a sort of spring-loaded thing there. I don't know if it's for safety or something. Whereas I'm pretty sure the passenger side was like on a fixed, yeah, it's like fixed down here. It doesn't move, yeah, or anything. I'll drop my poppy, which is interesting. Yeah. So take all those panels off, take your light off, take your harness off your light, unhook these from these little tabs here, just pull them down and off. And these ones here hook on here. Don't pull them off. You need to lift and pull them off. Or if you can, you probably can't really, no, you can't on this. But yeah, don't tear them off because you'll rip the material that it latches to. Same with this, take your seatbelt off. And then now you would have seen me lifting up the bottom of the seat, which is important because I didn't do this last time. All we're doing is just lifting up the seat and cutting all of the little zip tie connectors. There's one there as well. I think there's about 4 in total and one up under there. There's also a spare one that's not used, which is just in the corner there, so you don't worry about that. Cut all those because that line there is our air lines. And then this line here goes up through the seat, up along the top and up into the back here. Cool. So pull those off, team. Chuck a bag actually on those air lines. Not that it's gonna really matter, but if you've got your seat undone for a while, the less contamination the better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the motor here. So it's held on by these 2 torque screws. This is your tilt motor, and it will pop out and it'll allow us to basically bring the wiring harness up with it, if I'm not mistaken. Or is the wiring harness actually over here, sorry, it comes up through here, goes to your airbag, and yeah, so no, that's the way we'll do it. And yeah, so it's literally just those two torque screws there, and they're not actually done that tight up. This is a T25, it'll be, I think it's about a T30, but because they're so lightly torqued, I'm not going to damage the screws. And you can see the motor's already moving. Because it's a different assembly on this side than the passenger seat, yeah, it's sort of just as simple as that, team. Literally as simple as that. Whereas when I was undoing my passenger seat, I was fiddling away trying to undo this connecting harness here while it was in situ, and I ended up snapping a bit of the plastic off the harness here, which doesn't really matter, but it's still not ideal. Also, just pay attention to how that's wrapped around there, with the yellow tape showing you where it should be matching that marker. So when we go to reinstall, we know what we're doing. So remember, where you're taking, now this is actually a good question. This is our frame, right? And that's our system there. That's our system there. They are, I'm just wondering if they're symmetrical or not. They look symmetrical to me. The frame looks symmetrical. I need to compare part numbers. Because the question is whether, because on this is the passenger seat, so the motor's on the other side on this one, whereas on this side it's here. So it's just a question of, are they interchangeable, or do we need to take this seat out and also remove the actual cushion here out of the car as well? So that's going to be the other question. And also, team, just pulling these off. So again, putting pressure and there we go. Putting pressure on and just unhooking these little hooks. Again, don't tear them because you'll be in the shit. Just gentle with them. Yeah. So we'll get this undone. Yeah, we'll get this undone. We'll drill these rivet holes out on the airbag. Drill those rivets out, pull the airbag out, which is easy. We'll leave this in place for now. I don't think we need to remove it, but we'll see how we go. And then, yeah, we'll just be disconnecting our hoses here. And I'm contemplating whether I pull these out. On the passenger seat, I pulled all of the harnesses and stuff out, but I might do it the other way around, where I unhook these hoses and I'm not sure. We'll just get into it, see how we go. Like a breeze, team. It's nice and easy. So if you just follow what I did, the second seat has been a lot easier to disassemble, especially with unclipping those zip ties at the bottom of the seat. When I pulled the back off, you've always got the heater. The heater harness is the only harness that extends out of the seat itself. Everything else pulls out of the seat. So I was able to just disconnect that under here with my hand easily enough and pull that off and pull the whole seat out. So I guess now, straight away you see, this is my driver's seat. It's still perfectly good, team. It's like the quality of these seats from Mercedes are just brilliant, in my opinion. Like, fault me on them. What's wrong with them? They're 20 years old. They look flippin' beautiful still. They're comfortable. The foam's good. The build quality is excellent. And then you look at this seat. This is my passenger one, which is going to become the driver's seat. But you can see how it is in better condition. This has just got a little more wear, more fatiguing through the leather, a little bit harsher, whereas this still has that real factory finish. And you can see the difference. And then if you look at the passenger seat, again, they're both pretty similar, but this, even this just has something about it that's just a little more fresher than this one. Well, especially this one. But if you look at the bolsters even, that's the bolster there. And this is my used driver's seat bolster. You can see there's no comparison really. Like, it's pretty munted in comparison to that, which is still like, literally this seat to me is like it's out of the factory. It's just been made fresh out of the factory. It's mint. Yeah, but this is still good. So I'm going to keep these. I'm going to disassemble them further and sell them, or keep them as spares, either way, whatever. I might buy another E55 one day, and the seats will probably be cooked in that, so they can be a decent hand-me-down to that. But yeah, so what we'll do now, folks, is flip this over. I've just given this side a little bit of a clean up with my leather rake, and it's looking good. But yeah, what we're going to do is flip it over. I'm going to leave probably all this stuff, and saying that, it's literally just there, but I'll probably just leave it anyway installed. I'll leave all this hanging through, and we're just going to unclip the remove this for a start, drill those rivets out, remove these clamps, and pull this cushion off, chuck that cushion in place, and then we'll probably flip it over. We'll put in our new straps, get our new zip ties ready to go, give it all a bit of a clean up, and then we'll flip it back over, put the new backrest in, thread all the cables through, and hope it all hooks up. I'm feeling like the backs are symmetrical. I don't think there's a difference between a left or a right seat back. Saying, what's part number on this? 211 19 14 34. It's the easiest way to tell, folks. Why not think of that sooner? Here's our new base, which I'll also give a bit of a clean up. Don't want to put on the concrete, but just for a second it'll be fine. Yeah, see, this seat says 5. Says 4 on it, and the other one says 5, and that says 1334. Okay, so they are different part numbers. Interesting. Yeah, so we might end up having to just swap the covers over. I'll have a bit of a closer look between them on camera. Yeah. C-Team said that's where the wait a minute. What am I doing? This is the passenger seat. You can see on both sides, see they've both got that gear, that toothed gear, both sides have it. So in my eyes, they can't be different. Like they're symmetrical in that function, so that they've both got the same attachments for the engine that tilts the seat. So they've got the same hooks for the airbag on both sides, same hooks. So tell me what the difference is. I can't see a difference that would warrant using one or the other. Even if we look here, driver's seat, passenger seat, driver's seat, passenger seat. Same. Down here, left-hand side. The exact same screw holes and little mounting accessories. I don't see how there's any difference between them, but there must be, because why would they have a different part number for it? Oh gosh. Okay. Oh well, let's continue. Right, team, so much faster this time around because I know what I'm doing now. So I've taken those front little plastic pieces off, and these ones I haven't sort of jammed or damaged as much because I know what I'm doing now. So as you saw in the fast time lapse, I was just basically levering my little pin tool in the gap here, and then I was using this to come in from the front and wedge it under and then lift it, and it just sort of, it doesn't click out, it just sort of like nicely sort of, what's the word for it, just sort of undoes itself. So that's that, and then these here, you're literally just pressing down. So there's this little hole here, and there's a little sticky wobbly nipply thing, which is the same as those things there, and all you're doing is sort of pressing down to relieve the spring tension and then pushing it into the gap like that. So there's a little gap, it sort of moves out of its place, and then that fully disconnects it, right? So that's it, team. That's pretty much it. It's easy. Before I can fully remove it, before I forget, oh yeah, far out. Forgot about that. Is we need to undo the airline. Before I do take this out, I will just try and re-put these back into place. Maybe just to, yeah. But what we do need to do is we need to disconnect this harness here for the heater, and also the bloody the seat. No, yeah, no. yeah, one of these also does the these airbag harnesses, which are a fucking pain in the ass to get undone. Also, they go into the seat. Oh, yes, because this is a driver's seat, it doesn't have the airbag sensor on it, whereas that squab down there has the airbag sensor built into it. So we'll actually leave that unplugged. We don't need to plug that in on this seat because we don't actually have, so the sensor, you can see how they're coming out of this seat here, we only have the heater and the air harness for the bladders at the front here. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. Cool, okay, well that's actually good. It's one less bastard of a thing. That was honestly one of the hardest harnesses I've ever had to sort of de-harness. I don't know if they don't want you to touch it, I assume so. But yeah, what I do need to do though, guys, is just get this last air hose disconnected from here, and then we're good to go. team, so we've put most of it back together in pretty quick timing, which is good. Definitely a lot easier putting it back together. The only tricky part is really just remembering where to put the lines and cables. But I think I've figured it out now, so here's our puddle light for the rear seat passenger. Basically, our cable bundle from the floor of the car is going to run through the gap here, over the top of the control module, and then loop into the front. So we sort of want to keep a passage here. So what I've done is I've looped the wires. Look back through some of the video from earlier. We've got our air lines coming up the side here. I've also got the cable for the headrest adjustment coming up this side as well. And then I've got the main electrical supply cables for the airbag and the, what else does that run? Oh yeah, the tilt motor for the backrest and stuff going up the top. And we've obviously got our, oh not a headrest, sorry, our heater element for the back seat. So that's all in place. I've given it a bit of a clean, put a bit of grease on some of the points I can see, and just given it a bit of a clean, zip tied everything, and I think we're good. So everything's installed nicely. Our seat springs are back in place, which they should be. And then yeah, on the back here we've got the cable, the ear cables all in place. I can't remember how they sat exactly, but I've just zip tied them both ends. That's not original, but it's close enough. And yeah, these go back together so easily. It's such a smart little solution there that they've done. And airbag goes on. We've pressed it on with a riveter. So I just got a riveter down the road. I thought I had one, but I couldn't find it. So just a standard riveter like this is fine. This one has a tiltable, adjustable head like this, but that's about it, and it was enough room to get that on. So make sure you put the brown grounding wire on as well, and then yeah, it just slides up into place, and easy as that. For the front mount here, again, 2 rivets there and 2 on the bottom. Perfect, does the job. No stress at all. It goes back together fine. Headrest is in place. Now all we have to do is put the backrest back on, which I believe is this one here, because they've got a cutout for the side airbag. So that's just going to tuck in. Now team on camera. That's just going to tuck in like that. Pretty much, yeah. And yeah. Is that right, Maddie? Yeah, pretty much. I might just play around with it actually off camera. I just want to make sure it's correct exactly. But yeah, it looks about right to me. And then we'll put our, yeah, like now we've done the majority of it. We just need to put the trimmings on the side and the back, and we've got a complete seat ready to go alongside our beautiful passenger seat there. And there's the old seat, the old driver's seat. Still in perfect condition. Just the leather's a little more cracked and not as clean and not as matte, but it's fine. Yeah. And the only screws left, hopefully, are all the ones we need. 2 bolts for the trays, that bolt there. What are the little black ones for? Oh yeah, they're for the trim. Yep, so that's cool. We don't have any extra bolts. Yeah. Okay, so let's screw this all back in place. admire that, team. Beautiful refurbished 211 seat. Not necessarily refurbished fully, but we've stripped apart our driver's seat, put all the good parts from the passenger seat onto the frame, removed pretty much the whole seat entirely, put it back together again, installed an airbag, riveted on an airbag, cleaned up most of the components, refitted everything. I am going to get some more felt. I'll see if I can find a felt shop and just buy a strip, because you can see it marks there. So I'm going to put a bit of felt around there. Got our back paneling on, beautiful, and fix that, because if you look on, yeah, you can see there where it's rubbed, and also on this seat here, you can see where it marks there. It's actually not too bad, but I'll just do it anyway. We've put our seat storage back in, and it's all cleaned up and looking good. Our air control system's back in place and all tied up, so we're good to go. So we're going to just start chucking this shit back in, pretty much. I'll move the 210 out of the way. We'll just give this a quick little vac again, and we'll put the seat in. I've got the harness sort of pulled to the back there, and then when we put the seat in, then we'll wrap that over the back underneath. Yeah, I need to give the driver's side a quick clean there. I might just use a bit of spray just to dampen it, but it's not filthy. I'm not going to vacuum and shampoo the carpets or anything. Cool, let's continue. Right, team, so the seat's back in. I've put these on before I've put the seat in, just I guess for one less piece of metal that could scratch something on it door when it comes in. And because we put the seat in and light backwards, they aren't going to get bent, but I'll put the back ones in at the end. I'll tilt it forward and slide those on. So I've got the harness here. It's gone, like I said, up over the back of the computer, and then sort of comes into the middle and aligns with this notch here. So you can see the cable bundle lines with this notch, comes out of this piece here, airbag, seat heater, I think, or whatever it is, and then computer module here, and then I've just zip tied on the factory mount there, and also just another little one there. So it's all in place. The air line's plugged in as well, and it's not going to pinch on anything, which is good. So yeah, that's that seat done. Nice and simple. It looks really good. So we'll bolt it down to the floor. Don't forget to attach your seat belt, and then put your little cover back on and bolt it to the floor. I just do it good and tight. I don't torque it or anything, but doesn't mean you shouldn't probably torque it, but yeah. So now we'll move on to this side. Right, team, so the seats are back in the E55, and they look flipping awesome. They're mint. This new driver's seat's beautiful. Bolstering and everything's just brand new. Gorgeous. That's our passenger seat we purchased. I think I just swapped the headrest over because it had that dent in it. So that seat's mint, so it's all back together, all factory stock looking. Make sure you cover up, team, with microfibers like I was doing on that side. I didn't do it on this side, and I scratched it. So that pisses me off. So I'll buy a new or a wrecking kick plate here. This one already had a bit of marks on it, so I'm not like pissed off. I'd be really mad if I hit my steering wheel or, you know, or something over there. So it's not end of the world. Or my door card. So yeah, we've got an issue. We've got an airbag issue with the driver's side airbag. Funnily enough, I thought it would have been the passenger's one, if anything, because that seat, we don't know any history about it. But it's apparently to do with this driver's seat. Driver's side airbag ignition squib is too low. I don't know what the hell that means, but I've just been doing a bit of Googling on it, and the airbag is fortunately right here, so I'm going to be able to yeah, remove the rear cover, get access to it. But apparently something's just not right in relation to the resistance. What we'll do first is we'll check the connector, the harness at the bottom of the seat, and then we'll, if there's nothing obvious there, then we'll pull that all out. Yeah, so I'll check the connectors under there again on the airbag. Oh, I forgot how tight it is to get to and everything down there. I'm just going to look it up on WAS quickly and see if I can see anything obvious. And I'll probably disconnect the power again. But yeah, give me a few minutes. Right team, so using Perplexity, which is a great AI tool that I use for mostly business, but for research, it's gone through and said, so when we were reinstalling the system and plugging the power back in, I had this seat not fully bolted down. It was tilted back. So what it's telling me is that it thinks because of that reason, even though this is obviously grounded, the seat wasn't on the rail, on the floor itself. So it thinks that because, you know, this is, you can't tell me that's not grounded properly. It's like rock solid in there. I was thinking, should I drill that out and re-rivet it again? But it's like, I can't see how that would make a difference. So I might just test the continuity of it quickly and see if, yeah, I might test it from this point here onto the bottom of the seat perhaps and see if it's, what the resistance is there. Yeah, and then I've unplugged the battery anyway, so we've unplugged it again. I believe with SRS faults, you can't necessarily just reset them with the OBD reader. So with the battery unplugged for a certain amount of time, that should be enough to give it like a full reset again, in which hopefully it will it'll work again. So let's just try that. I'm just going to try the resistance first. If it's funny, I'll re-rivet the airbag to the seat frame. Right team, problem solved. Thank goodness, because I was getting concerned. So unfortunately I've put everything back together. Sorry, I was just thinking, oh shit, I've put it all back together when I should have showed you first. But anyway, it's not complicated. Well, I thought it was complicated, but it's not. So I don't know if I showed you before I slam the door on that. I showed you before the airbag I riveted onto that seat, okay? Looked all fine, looked perfect. So it rivets onto the seat. Here's the old driver's seat here. We had this riveted on here, but this, you have the airbag first. So here's the passenger airbag we still have. So you go, this goes in place first, then this little pin here sits on that, and then you rivet that through that hole there. And also there's one there I forgot to do up, so I've just done that one on the car now. So it was solid as a rock, right? Like I couldn't fault my riveting, but clearly it wasn't good enough, or it wasn't right. One thing that was pinched was this ground wire, very slightly pinched, like had a lot of strain on it. So I cut the rivet out and took it out, I guess, and then I re-riveted it. The only extra things I did was I got a bit of sandpaper, but then this is the original driver's seat, see? And it's like, this finish is the same across the whole thing. I'm just going to assume that it's got like a very thin layer of dust or grease or something. So what I did is I sprayed it with contact cleaner, clean that surface. I got my grinder and just gave it a very thin little skimmed it on that contact point there. I also cleaned the connector itself, this grounding wire here. So this is what causes that issue, at least for me. Clean that and then re-riveted it with a brand new rivet. And I must say, the riveter felt better this time, like it grabbed more, and I think it got a stronger grip, which was good. And then that was it. plugged it in, plugged the power back in, and the error went from being a stored in current fault to just a stored fault. So I reset the ABS computer and it's fine. No more airbag lights. So that's good. We'll just double check. I've moved the seat now a little bit as well. So it was clearly just, yeah. It was clearly just to do with the mounting of that rivet. So it shows you how important it is to get your electrical, anything airbag related 100% correct, otherwise you're going to have issues. I thought it might have been the harness, like a damaged harness or something. So this is a spare harness that I've got now, which is cool, so I'll be keeping that. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, we're all back up and running now, so thank goodness for that, because I thought it might have been more of a major. Got our beautiful new seats installed. I can straight away feel the difference when I hop out of the car. Like, this used to be quite soft. Now you've sort of got to climb over the bolstering there, which is quite cool. So yeah, here's our old girl. Still a perfectly good seat swab, but definitely lost all of its tension there. So I'm going to clean this up and wrap it up and put it on the shelf. I've still got my beautiful E63 seats. One day if we get a 211 E63 with bad rear seats, I've got these beauties here. Yeah, so anyway, that's the gist of it, team. I'm going to get this out and give it a good run now, because it hasn't been driven for a few weeks. And I've got a lovely blown left airbag already, even though it's literally only 3 years old. So that's pretty shit, but anyway, I'll have to replace that one day as well. That'll be a couple of $1,000. Cool. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you'd like to tackle any seat work yourself. It's not that hard, really. It's just things like the airbag, I guess you got to be careful of, but like, it's so much nicer now. The car's way better. If I could find another seat that was mint, I'd just buy it to have on the shelf if I could, you know, if I ever needed it, because these seats will be pretty hard to come by soon in this condition. So anyway, thanks team, like and subscribe.